Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie, keeper of my home. Today my husband and I are going to, more him than me, are going to make a casserole. This is something that he makes not real often, but he does usually tend to make it after Easter because he makes it with leftover ham. This is a great way to use any leftover ham that you would have. So any time of the year you're going to have ham and you want to use the leftovers, this is a great recipe. Now, I like old cookbooks, and this recipe comes from, it's a community club cookbook. Maybe you have one of those in your area. This is one we got for a wedding gift. You can see it's pretty tattered, and it's well used because the recipes in it are so good. We've kind of retired this one, and when my husband's stepmother passed away, we were gifted another one, a newer one. So it's got the back cover on it even. So we're utilizing this one now. So this recipe comes out of that book, and it's a really good recipe.
The first thing you want to do is put a couple of potatoes in a pot and boil it. Get the potatoes going. We used russets. You can use whatever potato you like. We just like the firmness of a russet potato. You want to chop up the vegetables that you are using and the ham and get everything ready to place in your pan and start cooking.
I've added the onions until they become translucent. We then let the ham in. I used deli ham. We didn't have a baked ham or whatnot. We normally use the leftovers, but I didn't have any, so I used deli ham.
Which you can. That's totally, if you want to make this out of season to, you don't have the baked ham, that's fine. Use deli ham, sliced ham, whatever, kind of, you can get those ham steaks too. That'll work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buy a ham steak.
Any kind of ham will work. I've added the ham to the pan, and then I've added the peas and carrots. We've also put onion and garlic powder and salt and pepper.
He did add the frozen peas and carrots to this mixture. You can add fresh chopped carrots. Just parboil them a little bit so that they're fork tender, because everything should be pretty well cooked once you get this into the casserole dish. So if you'd like to use carrots, like I said, parboil them a little bit. You can throw in some peas. I don't know if I would use canned peas. That probably wouldn't work. I think it would be a little too mushy. So frozen peas, fresh peas, you'd want to cook them first. But it's real versatile. If you want to add peppers, you can chop up some peppers and add some sweet peppers to this. That would work out really well too. You can add celery. Just chop that up and throw that in with your onions and cook that right along with them until everything's translucent. We did do this in some butter, about 3 tablespoons of butter. So you can use oil if you want to, or you can use oil and butter mix. Either one will work fine.
Now, once you have your mixture all heated up, and I say heated up because we did use the frozen peas and carrots. You're basically just heating those up, heating up the ham, and cooking your onions. You're going to put those into a greased casserole dish. You can use an 8x8. This is an 8x8 deeper dish. You can use a more shallow one like a brownie pan. You can use a 9x11. That will work fine, or 8x11, whatever that size is. This dish is totally versatile, so just use whatever fits the amount that you want to use in this casserole. Now, once your potatoes are all cooked, you're going to just rinse them off with some cool water. Just want to cool them down a little bit before you slice them. The potatoes only need to be cooked until they're fork tender. You want to slice those about 1/4 of an inch thick, and Joe is going to layer them on top of the vegetable and ham mix. it doesn't have to look pretty. Just layer them on there anyway. You can overlap, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Just get your potatoes all across the top. And once they're done, well, once ours were done, this is what it looked like. You can see they're just kind of all put in there. Just want to cover up what's underneath of them is all.
I wanted to interrupt this because we have a fox in where our garden goes. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I don't know, he's chewing on something. I know it's not a chicken. He's been trying to get into our chicken coop several times and he has not succeeded yet. So my husband's outside right now. He's gonna try to scare him off with the shotgun. But he keeps coming around and around all the time. We're so afraid to let our chickens out this summer. Thinking about doing that is just, we don't want the fox getting them. My sister lives down the road and this fox has gotten her chicken several times. Yep, he fired a shot and it's running off.
Okay, let's move on from this excitement and start our cheese sauce. In a pan, Joe has about 5 or 6 tablespoons of butter. This is salted real butter. And he's adding a 1/4 cup of flour. He's just going to stir that up good and make a roux. Now you want to make sure you keep it stirred because you don't want your flour to burn, but you do want to cook it enough so you get rid of that flour taste. Cook it until it's nice and bubbly and starting to thicken. Once you see it start to thicken, you want to temper your milk that you're pouring into it. Just pour a little bit at a time and stir it, and then you can add the rest of your milk. Continue to stir until that's all mixed in really well. Then we're going to add some cheese. We're going to let that melt. As far as how much cheese, it's about 1/2 cup, give or take. Add what you like, but you just don't want to make it too cheesy. Then he's adding some salt, pepper, and it's just going to stir that all up. And you'll know it's done when it's nice and thick and just really cheesy. Now we're going to pour the cheese sauce. Now that cheese sauce looks like it's a lot, but it's going to go right down into all those crevices and into the bottom, and it's going to be delicious.
Now we added the fried onions. You can add toast. Take a slice of bread, toast it, crumble that up, put it over the top. We've done that many times. That's probably the majority of the time. That's probably what we do. You can use cracker crumbs. You can use croutons. Just crunch those up and spread those over the top. Whatever you want to use for a topping will work. We're using the French fried onions this time, and Joe just thought that would taste really good where there's that onion flavor in there. And then you're going to bake this at 375 until it's nice and bubbly and golden. Now, while that is baking in the oven, it's probably, by the time it's ready, it's probably going to be 20-30 minutes or so. We're going to make a side dish to go along with it. Some Brussels sprouts. My husband loves Brussels sprouts. I'm not completely sold on them, but this particular recipe is one that I kind of like because it hides the flavor of the Brussels sprout a little bit more than any other recipe that I've tasted. I'm not a big fan of the taste of them, but this is such a good recipe, and I'm not tasting just the Brussels sprouts. I'm tasting everything else that's in the recipe. So without any further ado, let's just get into it and I'll show you what's involved.
This is our recipe for maple balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts with bacon. First thing you want to do is cut your bacon up into little bite-sized pieces. He just does those with scissors. It's just easier. Fry that in a pan until it's nice and crispy. You want to drain the bacon out. Leave only a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of the bacon fat in the pan. To prepare your Brussels sprouts, you want to peel the outer skins and take off a little bit of the bottom root. Wash them really well, rinse them. You're going to slice them in half and add them to that bacon fat. Add some salt, some pepper, and we're going to fry those until they're nice and golden. They're not going to be fully cooked because we're going to finish them off in the oven, but you do want them golden. Then we're going to add 2 tablespoons of real maple syrup and 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. I'm going to mix that all in, then put your bacon back in, stir it all around, just mix it all up, and then we are going to put all of this into the oven at 425 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes until it's done. It's going to be delicious. Now, once he pulls it out of the oven, you can see this has just, everything is caramelized. I know it looks like it's a little bit blackened, but I'm telling you, this is the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look this way. And I mean, the taste is so rich and delicious.
Like I had said at the beginning of this video, this ham and cheese potato scallop is perfect for your Easter leftovers. It's what we usually do. And it's very versatile because if you don't want to cook the potatoes and slice them, go ahead and use your leftover mashed potatoes. Just when you put the vegetables down in the bottom, pour your cheese sauce over the vegetables, then add your mashed potatoes on top of that and whatever you're going to sprinkle on the top, or you don't even need to sprinkle anything on the top, and bake it like that. Then go ahead and use whatever vegetables you prefer. The Brussels sprouts make the perfect side dish at your Easter dinner table. If you try anything, try those Brussels sprouts. Because like I said this a couple of times already, I'm not a fan of Brussels sprouts, but I will eat these. So I encourage you to try them at least. Thank you for joining me today. I create 2 new videos every week on simple living, homestead grown, and all things home. And until next time.